There's a big crowd already. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, probably where you are. Hello. Well, it's lovely to see you all. Thanks for joining. We'll just wait a moment, wait for everybody to pile in. Lots of you this morning. Great to see you. Yeah, it is good morning for me, isn't it? But in the UK. But Anya, I'm presuming afternoon for you and afternoon for everyone in calling in
Yeah.
from Greece.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Okay, right. We've got to 11 o'clock in the UK, 1 o'clock in Greece. Anya, for you, it's midday, is it?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's almost
Oh,
lunchtime,
yes,
actually.
yeah. Oh, well, I hopefully won't keep you too long from your lunch. And those that have
No
joined, good
worries. No
morning.
worries.
I'm just going to pop a note in the chat to everyone. So, welcome to those just joining. So, I'm just popped a note in the chat just to say that the slides that I'm going to share, only a couple, you'll be pleased to know, and recording and access to a certificate will be available after the session. Obviously, please feel free to say hello in the chat, but can you save any questions for the Q&A section? So if that's not obvious where it is, if you click on more, and it's within that section, if you just click on the Q&A, it will actually attach, hopefully, itself to the main bar on your Zoom window, hopefully. So if you could pop your questions as I go along in the question and answer, we'll try and answer some of them as they come in, but obviously try and get to them at the end. And the reason why I ask you to pop them in there is so that we can compile them later. If we've got a load of questions, we can do a frequently asked question document and share it with you afterwards. Also, just to note, while I'm introducing myself and Anya, if there's anything you'd like me to ask LeapSpace on your behalf, I'll be doing a live demo, and obviously I'm just going to share a couple of slides. So while I'm doing that, if there is anything you'd like me to ask LeapSpace, let me know. If you can drop that in the chat, that would be great. Just any research question that you've got at the moment that you'd like me to use as an example, or you're happy for me to use an example. That will be great. Thank you. Don't worry if you haven't got anything though. I have got one prepared earlier.
So we are
So,
recording the sessions, and will
yes,
you send the recording afterwards?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So the session is recorded and as Anya's just mentioned, will be shared with you afterwards as well. And somebody has just said about using LeapSpace, drop the link here. Absolutely, I'll do that too now. Let me just go to LeapSpace as I'm in it and copy and paste that into the chat. So you might lose it, and there's a lot of chat coming in, but I'm just popping that in the chat now. So if you do want to follow along, then obviously please feel free to do that. Is there an option to add subtitles? Let me just, if not, as we go along, I'm just checking in the settings. I don't think there is, but there'll be a transcript afterwards as well. So, and this will be available via YouTube once it gets sent to Heal Link. So let's have a look. Great. Thank you for adding the questions in the Q&A. That's great.
Yes. There's also one suggestion for a research question.
Yeah, that's
How is
great.
blue hydrogen produced?
Yes, brilliant. That's great. I'll ask that. You can turn on captions for subtitles. I thought you could do that, but I can't remember where it is. So if anyone can share that, that'll be great. Oh yeah, show captions. Sorry. So when you go to more, you've got the option to show captions. And then I think you can change that to your language. So hopefully you'll be able to do that. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm Alison Ferret. I'm one of the customer success managers. The sound echoes. I'm not sure why that is. It's not echoing my end. Is it echoing your end, Anya? No.
No.
Um, Apologies for that person that's just said that. So, yeah, I'm one of the customer success managers. I'm joined by my colleague here, Anya. She's also a customer success manager. You cover Germany, don't you, Anya?
South of Germany, Austria, and Switzerland.
Yes, yeah. And Anya's going to be looking and helping me with the questions because there's a lot of you today, and obviously I might not catch everything. So we'll try and do our best to capture everything as we go along or look at them at the end. So I'm just going to show you a couple of slides just because I want to show what's new in LeapSpace, and then I'm going to do a recap of what LeapSpace is, how to use it, and obviously I'll use any examples you've given me in the chat or question and answer section. And also we'll go over a couple of the new things that are coming within LeapSpace as well. So let me just share my screen. Hello to everyone joining. So let me share my slides. So Anya, if you can give me a thumbs up that you can see the slide, that would be amazing. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm just going to skip along. I went from the beginning. We've all gone through the LeapSpace. Hopefully those that have already been to my webinar before on Science Direct AI and LeapSpace. But there is now these a couple of new things I wanted to share with you today, and I will demo those in the live session, in the live database. But obviously I just wanted to show you what they can do now, and then I'll share that with you afterwards so you can have a look at them for later. So the first thing we've added, you've got the trust card, which is a newish feature. But that really is the link to the statement. So when you're doing a search within LeapSpace, you've got the link to the statement and then the claim radar. So the trust card is it's not a separate feature on its own, actually, it's a trust signal. So this trust card is a label that tells the user that part of the response, is grounded, where it's grounded, it's traceable and designed to be verified. So that signal really appears in these two ways. So you've got the link to the statement. So when you do a search, you'll get a list of references. You can click on the reference and it will provide a statement on that reference. And that helps a researcher check whether a specific claim is actually supported by the source being cited, and it actually shows you the exact passage where it's picked that up from, where you've actually yielded that result. And the other is the claim radar. So this is the new feature that's come out very recently, and that actually goes a step further. And I think I may have mentioned this in previous sessions that it was coming, but this is where it asks a broader question. It basically asks if the citation is actually correct. Does the claim that it's claiming to do also hold up against the wider research landscape? So it's not just based on a particular statement, it's looking at the broader research landscape. And the claim radar actually does have, you'll see different levels. So it'll have whether it's a concrete, yes, definitely trust it, not so sure, might want to look into that. You'll see those options in a moment. So the value of these trust cards really is that they help you validate two levels. So first against the cited source, and then against the broader body of evidence. And that makes the obviously trust in the system much more practical and much more usable in a research way. So this slide just shows you where the trust card actually signals that shows up in the product. So that's probably quite tiny writing there, but you'll see when I'm looking at the reference, I'll show you, but you'll get the link to statement on the right-hand side with all the reference details. And I'll show you how to look at that. And then you've got the claim radar, which you click on within the text that it's obviously in the results. And I'll show you where that is too. And this is what I mean. So it basically says, does it support it? There's a mixed view or contradiction. So it will tell you the level. So there might be, 47, as it says here, related documents to support that. You can be then confident that the broader research also agrees with what it's produced in the results. And then the other feature I'm going to go over today, so this is also a new feature. This is the upload document. So you've now got the option, you can see on the slide, a highlighted paperclip. So you can upload your PDFs. We're only uploading PDFs at the moment. Again, hopefully Word documents, text documents will be available to upload in hopefully coming soon. I would probably say by the end of the year anyway. That's the aim. But at the moment you can upload just PDFs. This feature is obviously useful when you want to work not only from the published literature, but also from your own material. So you might have some notes on your research that you haven't published, of course, that you want to include within the publications that you're looking at within LeapSpace. So by uploading that document, you can then obviously add context to the analysis, and LeapSpace can obviously incorporate that material into the response while still keeping the output traceable through the citations. So it's just PDF, as I mentioned, but LeapSpace can interpret PDFs at the moment, nothing else. That's why it's only just PDF. It's to do with the structure, and it's looking at things like sections, tables, figures, authors, references, that kind of thing. So it just helps LeapSpace obviously look at that information just in PDF document. And of course, it gives the system a much richer understanding of what you're looking at than obviously looking at text extraction, for instance, as well. Obviously, it's really important to us that those uploads remain private and secure. So all uploads are securely stored. They're not used to train the models. They're not used to train the LLMs, and they're handled under our security and responsible AI principles. And they aren't saved for more than 30 days. So just to make you aware of that. And they're not saved for longer than 24 hours if you use the temporary conversation option. And I'll go through that obviously in a moment. So really the benefit here is in terms of uploading your own documents is obviously more contextual, richer analysis without losing the traceability and control of what you're looking at as a whole. So, is there anything burning in the questions so far, Anya?
Um,
Or
yeah, there
missed
is
any?
a question, what type of license Healing
Oh, yeah.
member have?
Okie
And
dokie.
I logged in and it gave me a weak license. I'm not sure what this means.
Yeah. So, if you're a member of the HillLink consortium, then you should be able to get access to LeapSpace. So the HillLink consortium, if you're a member, you will get access to LeapSpace. So if you're within an institution, then you should be able to log in via your institution to LeapSpace.
So we
And
have also a few hands raised. I'm not,
yeah, okay.
is there any limit on the use of LeapSpace?
I mean, obviously, you're using LeapSpace as your research assistant, I would say, really. So we don't suggest you use it to write things like literature reviews, but it can get you started. Obviously, it just brings all of that information in your research area. If you're typed in a particular research area, you can obviously start your literature review from that point. So that's how I would use it. You're looking at putting a collaboration bid together. You can bring all that of information you can look at who you might want to collaborate with in LeapSpace. You can look at your research. You can bring it all into one report. So obviously I'll go over that and show you how you can use it. And in terms of interested in writing a review on a subject, can you feed it a bunch of references and propose a frame for a review that will be sensible? Yep. So, I mean, you can obviously ask it any question. You can add references if they're obviously not already embedded within the information you get from LeapSpace. If you've got separate references, you can, of course, add them via PDF. So you can add all that information in and it will hopefully provide report out, and I can obviously show you what it does. So I can see a question about Science Direct AI. So you've got access to LeapSpace via HillLink. Science Direct AI is actually at LeapSpace. So LeapSpace has now transformed from Science Direct AI. And I'm going to go over about the compare experiments. I can completely understand that. You can use compare experiments in Science Direct, but you can't use it at the moment in LeapSpace, but it is coming. So I will talk about that in a moment. Okay. In terms of the institutional access, if you can let me know what institution you're from, we'll have a look at that afterwards. And can I share a discussion in LeapSpace with my colleagues? Yeah. So at the moment, there isn't an option to share directly from LeapSpace. That is being looked at though. So that is one thing we are hopefully going to be it's on the roadmap. So they will have a look. But you can save when I show you how to save the report or copy the information. You can obviously share that with your colleagues that way. Okay. Right. Well, I'm going to go to, oh, go on, Anya,
So
sorry.
maybe we continue with the presentation, and if there is any question which we have not yet answered, we will do after the presentation.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah, that's
Okay.
great. Thank you, Anya. So keeping me on the straight and narrow. So let me copy that question from the Q&A. I'm just going to close my question and answer section for now. So this is what happens when you log into LeapSpace. This is what you'll see. It's a really basic, it sounds really awful, but it's a basic, simple entry point for a very comprehensive product. The reason why they've left it so simple in terms of when you actually land on that page is because obviously there's a lot of information that's going to come from it, and they want to make it as intuitive as possible. Sorry, that's the product for LeapSpace. They want to make it as easy for you as possible. So I'm just going to paste that question into the LeapSpace search option here. Just to remind you again, you've got a toggle sidebar here on the left-hand side. This is where all your previous conversations are kept. And you can save up to it will save up to 200 conversations here. You can also delete them just by clicking on them on those three dots on the right hand side. You can rename them. But yeah, so you'll see all your conversations up to 200 on the left hand side. You can toggle that to close it down just in case you don't want the noise. You can click on here to ask a new question, open a new conversation page. And where you can click on temporary conversation is on the right hand side. So this is where you can obviously just put your temporary conversation in. It won't be saved. You won't see it on the left-hand side. For safety purposes, we may keep a copy of the chat for up to 30 days, but then it's deleted. As I mentioned, if you've added a document here on a temporary conversation, that will be deleted after 24 hours. So I'm going to ask LeapSpace, how is blue hydrogen produced? It doesn't actually matter if it's capitals or not. So what LeapSpace actually does is it starts to create a plan when it's responding to the query. So you'll see the Copilot steps. This is not Microsoft Copilot, by the way. I think I've mentioned it before, but it's used to improve our Copilot, is used to improve the quality of the results. We are, I think, in the process of changing the name for Copilot. So it's actually thought about it. I'll click on the Copilot steps here and you'll see what it's done. So you can, obviously it's really transparent in terms of what it's done when it's performed that search. So it's created a plan, performed a keyword search. You can actually see those keyword searches. So if you wanted to copy and paste them, you could. You've got the natural language search. So obviously I just asked it a very simple, how is blue hydrogen produced? But it's added using modern reforming processes and carbon capture technologies. It's used that data from Scopus. It's also picked up publication years from 2020 because it's picked up, it said modern there as well. And it's also asked what technical methods, also produced further keywords here. So it's combined all of that information above that you can see here, and it's produced this result. So you can obviously apply filters here, I meant to say. So where you saw that it obviously applied the filter from 2020, you can actually, when you're asking the question, actually ask it to look at particular years. So, you know, if you've asked it to look at recent research, or you might say you want to look at research in a particular country, you can ask what document type. So these are the different things you can actually apply when you're asking a particular question. So you could ask that in the follow-up question if you wanted to, or you can ask it in your original question, of course. So it searches the whole Scopus corpus. So the entire corpus of Scopus and also the full text from Science Direct, plus also the publishers, the extra publishers that we've got within Science Direct. We can share the list with you afterwards. And it tailors the answer around all of that information. So it tailors the answers around the full text. And then more information about methodology, results, that kind of thing. And then Scopus, the information, it provides the sense around what's going on really in the academic space at the moment. So that's sort of behind all of this. Of course, I meant to say at the very beginning is AI tools are only as good as the content they're grounded in. Obviously, this is coming from the most trusted resource of Scopus, which is peer-reviewed content, including 17 million text articles from different publishers. So you've got the breadth of Scopus, but then the depth of the full text from Science Direct. And just to note here again that none of your queries are actually used to train or improve the AI models. So just to reassure you on that. So the result you get here, it uses keyword and natural language vector search technology. If you want more information about that, that is actually included in the slides, and you can have a look at that afterwards. But it uses that to combine the answers, and it's purely grounded on the academic content that it pulls from Scopus and Science Direct and the publishers that we've got the agreement with. Obviously, we're building the information from the ground up with the best resources that, we can find, obviously, from those trusted sources that I've just mentioned.
Maybe one question.
Yeah,
Do we have a daily use limit?
a daily use limit. That's a very good question.
I'm not aware of it.
No, me neither. I mean, obviously, you've got the option to save your 200, you've got the option of 200 conversations in the left-hand side, but I don't know about whether it's restricted to daily limit. So I'll have to check that. Um, sorry, not off the top of my head. I don't know. Um, anything else, Anya?
Maybe something for later, but there's a question, can I combine upload files and deep research at the same time?
Yep. So when you're using the deep research function, yep, I'll get to that. I'll show you. So when you actually look at the query answer, you've got the summary here. So you've got a summary at the top. So it'll give you a quick summary. And then you've got the summary table. This provides main points for you. So it's highlighted the process, how it's produced, how it's captured, how the CO2 is captured. And then these are the supporting sources. I'll go over those in a moment. I'll just scroll down to show you a bit more information. So it sort of elaborates underneath. It gives you a direct answer. And then at the bottom, you'll see it's got the option. So all these dotted, the blue text you can see highlighted, the numbers, they're all the references, and I'll show you those in a moment. But you can actually look at all the references at the same time. So I'm just going to click on one of these references just to show you. Oop, I need to refresh my page, sorry. It needs to keep me signed in, and I'd rather do that than get stuck in a moment. So hopefully it won't lose where I was. Nope. So there you go. That at least hopefully shows you it doesn't lose what you're looking at if it asks you to refresh the page. So I've just clicked on that reference there, and it will highlight the text it's referring to. And you'll see. So this is the statement, the link to that support statement here. And that really is trying to encourage you with critical thinking rather than just providing an answer. Um, just asking you to think about whether that claim is actually grounded to the source that you're looking at. How was the claim arrived at from that source? It just helps you verify that claim. So you can obviously see here the reference describes blue hydrogen production via SMR of methane. So you can then read it and have a look. You can give it a thumbs up if the statement's useful. If not, say no. That really helps the product team develop the system. So it really does, believe it or not, it really does help if you can give thumbs up or down or any feedback on the system when you're using it. It just helps develop the system for the future. And so what you can actually do here is view that full text at the publisher. So I'm just going to click on that and it will fly out to a different tab. And so you can have a look. So you can then obviously, this is where your critical thinking comes in. You can really explore that reference. Just check whether you think that reference is correct for your topic. And you can also view that at Scopus as well. Where the claim radar comes in, so this is the little shield icon that you can see. So what you can do is actually click on that radar shield. And then this is where you can then obviously deepen your verification. So it can't. So no claims could be identified to that given text. That's helpful. Let's go back up through. That's where you know that it's not trying to hallucinate to provide you an answer. Let's have a look at that one. Oh, that's helpful. Let's go to that list of references there. hopefully it will. That's always typical when you're doing a demonstration. Good. Okay, so it's now creating obviously a plan to verify that list of references there you can see. So it's saying that the identified claim that methane reacts with high temperature steam over a nickel catalyst, etc. So then you can see here it's showing you whether it supports that claim, mixed, or whether it's contradicted. So there's nothing that's contradicting that claim. There's one mixed. So what you might want to do is actually look at the one mixed and look at that in more detail, see what what they say. And then you've got the 10 supporting documents here of that particular claim. So obviously I'll just click on that, showing you some insights to that claim. And it's really just trying to help you in terms of looking at the statement, but like I say, looking at the whole research landscape and whether that is uh, the correct claim that it's trying to provide you. Let me just come back out of that. So in terms of the claim radar, just to let you know, it actually analyzes up to 40 of the most relevant sources across the Scopus index papers to show whether evidence supports this. So that's where the claim radar comes in terms of looking at the broader research landscape. You can, of course, ask a follow-up question here. So you can add a follow-up question. As I mentioned, you can add further PDFs. So actually, while I'm here, I'm going to upload a PDF. It's got nothing to do with the research question that I've been asked to pop in LeapSpace, but I'm just going to show you as a demonstration. Hopefully it'll work. Let me go to my folder. It's just downloading or uploading, thinking about it. And I'm just going to click on, and please, it probably won't make any sense of this because this is to do with the knowledge exchange framework. So it won't make any sense of it probably within this context, but please can you provide further insights on this, including this document? And see what it has to say. I'll be surprised if it does come up with anything, but because it's to do with a KEF, but you'll see what it's doing anyway, and hopefully just get the idea of being able to upload documents. So it's actually performed a keyword search based on that document. Let me just go back so you can see what it's done. So it's picked out knowledge exchange, knowledge transfer, energy or hydrogen. So it's actually picked up those keywords as well. And you'll see it's obviously given a bit more information about 3 areas: understanding, newly retrieved studies, deepen understanding. It's also said now integrated newly retrieved research and the contents of your KEF document. So that's what it will do if you add your own documents. I just wanted to demonstrate that for you, really. And actually, it has made a note of what the KEF document has contributed. So just to give you that information there as well. Let me just go to that. Somebody asked about the deep research report, didn't they? So let me I'll go to a new conversation and I'm going to click on deep research. And as you can see here, the upload has been disabled. So when you're actually looking at deep research, you can't upload your documents. It's only when you're in the conversational view of LeapSpace you can add your further information. So just to make you aware of that. The other thing I just wanted to remind you all on is the explore topics. So if you're not sure where to start when you're looking at LeapSpace, you do actually have some example questions. So it just gives you an idea of what you can ask the system, or you can actually click on those and it will give you an answer based on what we've just looked at. Also, the find experts option. So you can find authors you might want to collaborate with. Perhaps it says about who are the authors in generative AI safety research today. What we can do is also, I can show you what happens if you add that further information when you're in the middle of your research and your search. Also, you can find funding. So you can look at which grants fund early stage research here for this particular research area. It gives you some examples. You can, of course, ask it your own. I'm just going to go back to the conversation I was in about the production of blue hydrogen. I'm going to go down to the bottom. And in terms of, you can ask a follow-up question, of course. These are some of the follow-up suggestions. I'm going to just click on asking a follow-up question. I'm just going to say, so this is where you can use the experts option. So could you tell me who the experts are in blue hydrogen? Not very fast at spelling today. I'm going to blame the weather. All very good. Production R. And this is where you can then obviously ask a few more questions, and it will build on the search that you've already obviously started. So it's just having a think about it again. It'll create that plan. You can follow what it's doing. And this is obviously the results here. It will show you it's returned 5 researchers whose most recent work directly covers blue hydrogen production. So you can obviously sense check those. If you're in that area, you probably know them as the experts. And of course, you can look at the information that's on the right-hand side of them. So you can have a look at the profile. You can link out to Scopus. You can have a look at the documents that are actually affiliated to that author. Also, it will provide you some evidence on why why the system thinks that person is the expert, and also who are the leading experts and the confidence level. The next thing you can then ask is what funding is available in blue hydrogen production research. Let's have a look, see what it says. And again, it'll do that create plan again for you. And it will provide you with a list of funding opportunities. So it will search the funding database that we have in LeapSpace. And here you can see, so it's got multiple active programs. So it's captured here. You can, of course, ask it to just look at the UK or the US, but it's produced all the results from everything that is found here in the funding database. So you can then have a look at those in a table at the top. Obviously, use it to narrow those down, but you can also click on a particular option here, and it will give you the information from, this is from funding institutional. It will show you the funding opportunity, give you a summary, and some eligibility details as well. So you can then explore that further if you wanted to. In terms of sharing this with colleagues, at the moment there isn't an option to share what you found so far in the normal conversational search. What you would have to do is actually copy the query and response using this option here, and then of course you can paste it into a Word document and share it as a PDF with your colleagues. But I know they are working on the possibility of sharing directly from LeapSpace. Where you can actually create a report is where you go to the Deep Reports option. So I'm going to go to the new conversation. Any questions, Anya, that you think I need to pick up on yet?
Well, there are a lot of questions. I'm just trying to cover them. But maybe we can do that at the end because
Yeah.
otherwise it will delay
Yeah,
too
yeah, of
much.
course, absolutely. Right, I'll try and skip along. So when you're just to remind you how to use deep research. So I'll ask it the same question, obviously that I did before. So we'll have a look at how blue hydrogen is produced. So the deep research report actually works in a slightly different way. It doesn't just try to answer the question and obviously provide you with all that information, but it actually tries to explore it from different perspectives, and it will try. It's a bit of a deeper thinker. Obviously, that's why it's called deep research. It will decide what to do with the information that it's generating, and can take a few minutes. So where you saw how quickly the conversation side works, this actually performs a meta-analysis and looks at what links there are in the information, what's missing, what opportunities there are. So it is an alternative to the summary experience. It's a deeper, richer view. It really can be used to help answer challenging problems that require a lot of literature. So really, it's a large brain dump. And then you can of course switch to the conversation mode once you've got a report ready to show. You can obviously add that report into your conversation once you've saved the PDF. It's really built to, again, to be your critical thinking partner and help you write that paper rather than writing that paper for you. So it's really that's what it's doing. So I'm going to ask it the same question. How do you produce blue hydrogen? We'll give it a moment. So it can take a couple of minutes. If it's looking like it's going to take longer, I can save it for later and share it with the person that asked. I'm happy to do that because it can take longer, and obviously it's not very exciting to watch a screen whirl. I have got a pre-prepared report, so I can show you what it looks like and that you can what the PDF looks like, and then of course you can share that with your colleagues as well. Again, you can't share directly from LeapSpace, but you can obviously in the deep research mode, you can actually share the report via PDF.
So maybe we can answer one question. Can we download search results in a PDF or Word format?
Not at the moment. So it's when you're so in the deep research, you can download it in PDF only at the moment. In the conversation mode, it's using that copy option. So copying the research query, all the information that you've got as I showed you, and then obviously just copying and pasting that into another document. Unfortunately, at the moment, obviously that is something that has been asked many times. So yeah, I think the team are looking at that. While we're
Yes.
waiting for that to come up, obviously somebody mentioned about the compare experiments. Obviously in Science Direct, while I'm waiting for that, I'll show you in Science Direct currently, when you do a search, you're looking at a particular research area. I've got one here I made earlier. So I just searched the articles with diabetes as a term. And you'll see here, you've got the option to compare experiments. So I'm already chosen some down here. Let's choose a couple more. You can actually compare experiments just by doing that search within Science Direct, looking if you've got a document you found, you want to compare experiments with other documents, of course, list of documents, then this is how you can do it. So you click on compare experiments, and this is what you can currently do. But as you know, when you were looking at Science Direct AI originally back in January, you could do this directly out of Science Direct AI. Not currently available in LeapSpace, but it is coming. So it's going to be hopefully even better. They're looking to improve it. They're working on it at the moment. So you'll be able to do this that I'm doing now within Science Direct. You'll be able to do this directly from LeapSpace. So hopefully this is coming soon. I would say within the next, I think it's by, I would say by the end of the summer, but obviously things can change just because things might not work as well as they thought they did. Obviously, a lot of testing going on. So, but they are working on it and hopefully it'll be available soon. But this is what you can do in Science Direct currently. So obviously, at the moment, you can't use it in LeapSpace, but it is coming. And this is what will happen when you actually do the compare experiments in Science Direct AI. It will pick up the article information, obviously the abstract information here, experiment study, the goal, the materials, the methods, and so on. So you can actually have a look at that within this window here. You can export the data from each section if you want to, but you can export the table as a whole, and you can manage the columns as well. So hopefully, like I say, that is coming into LeapSpace as well. Apologies that it's not there at the moment. The other new thing while I'm talking about new things is the file load updates. I mentioned it earlier, but they're looking to support Word documents and other text formats. So that is coming as well, probably I'd say by the end of the year, but they are looking at that. So just wanted to make you aware. So it has worked. It actually took less than 2 minutes, which is the fastest I've seen it do it since I've been demoing LeapSpace. So it processed it within 1 minute, 41 seconds. And there you can see you've got the option to view the deep research response as a PDF. This is where you can actually, of course, save that PDF and then share it rather than having to copy and paste all the information you've got. You'll get the key findings table as a quick reference at the top, and then you'll get the direct answer. You'll get some study scope. You'll get assumptions and limitations, and then some suggested further research. So this is where I'm saying it's not just answering your question, it's actually inviting you to be more curious, do further research on, what you think you might know already. It's asking you to have a look into this further. It's telling you about all the different production methods. Obviously, whatever you're looking at, it'll come up with something different. Environmental impacts, economic considerations, and so on. And then you'll see at the bottom, so it actually provides many, many more references. So in the conversation mode, it produced around 20 references, I think it was. In the deep research mode, as I said, it's trying to be more critical in its thinking and pulling different ideas. So it will actually show further references. So you can look at all those references here. And of course, you can then look at the, obviously, let's have a look at the view claim evidence, look at the conclusion. And you can then start to have a look at whether those references actually are relevant to what you're looking at. what questions have we got?
Yeah, I have a question. Could you please clarify how the tool's reference recommendations are validated? Is there any measure error or hallucination rate regarding irrelevant papers, incorrect citations, or unsupported paper connections? I think you have showed that in your live
Yeah,
demo. I think that should
yeah.
be clear.
Yes, hopefully with the claim radar and with the reference checking and the link to statements, this is where you can do your checks to make sure that the reference is saying what and the article and what it's picked up is basically saying what it's saying it's saying. You can obviously check. You've got here the related documents where I've just shown the claim radar on this. And there's 36 supporting, 7 mixed, 10 are contradicting. So this is where you can obviously, it's inviting you to be critically thinking. But in terms of hallucination, I think it's less than 0. I think it's 0.5%, definitely less than 1% in terms of hallucination. Obviously, all AI systems hallucinate, but this is where we're obviously relying on the trusted content of Scopus and Science Direct, and obviously including these other features, so the claim radar, the link to statement. This is where you can really start to drill down and make sure that these are the right references for you. Hopefully that
Yeah.
answered that question.
And and there's another one, can LeapSpace produce results only from references which can be ranked as of high quality? For example, in business economic discipline, can I get only results from ABS ranked references?
Yeah, I
That's
don't.
something more or less in the same direction, right?
Yes, yeah, and I think you can ask it to look at highly ranked journals, but I think it won't pick up it won't do a ranking for you. That's I can definitely say that at the moment. I think that has been a question in the past in terms of the ranking of that reference or ranking of where they produce that reference. I think that has been asked in the past and it's being looked at. But obviously, this is where it comes down to you to have a look at what's actually being produced. You know your research area better than most, of course.
Yeah, there's also another interesting one. Is there a way to improve the suggested references? Having used LeapSpace to find relevant references for my thesis background section, I have noticed that sometimes it supports some claims using case reports or small studies that support the claim in the discussion and not larger or more supported studies that may be the corresponding citation in the small studies. Not sure if I understand this question,
Yeah,
but
I think it's really in terms of what it's looking at within Scopus. It's more about recency. I know that for definite in terms of so something that was done, maybe I don't know, 20 years ago, maybe a massive study might not necessarily, or highly cited publications might not necessarily be included because they might be, too far away in terms of year range. But what you could do is try and tweak the question and perhaps ask it particular year ranges. I think it goes back to 2003 within LeapSpace, but obviously that's probably why you might not see it. It doesn't look at citations and say, oh, well, I'll go with that publication. It looks at relevancy and recency. That's probably really what it's looking at.
another question. Does it offer a suggestion function after the search was conducted when we want to add new source, for example, or provide a better or correct source?
Yeah, so let's go back to the original question. So you can obviously ask a follow-up question here. It will also, so you can ask a follow-up question. You can also look at the suggestions it's provided underneath each. So every time I've obviously updated that, it's given you follow-up suggestions. Let's go down a bit further. Let's just, yeah, so it's given you where I asked about the key experts. It'll also give you some extra information here. So who are the key industry leaders? Just gives you some information, some examples of how you can actually expand on what you've asked. So hopefully that answers that question.
There's another one. My question has to do with how the system handles content. AI models tend to compress information, often sacrificing context for the sake of coherence. Sorry.
No, no, it's okay.
When LeapSpace synchronized an answer from multiple sources, how does it ensure that the specific methodological limitation of each study, such as sample size, demographic constraints, or an in vitro setting, do not disappear in the final summary? How does the system protect the researcher from epistemic inflation where conditional findings are falsely presented as universal truths?
Wow. Okay.
Well,
That's
was not an easy one.
and I'm not sure I can answer it really. And I probably would refer it to my product colleagues to answer, and we can get back to you on it. But as I mentioned about relevance and relevancy, that's what the system is looking at. And obviously just getting information from Scopus, Science Direct, so it's trusted content. But in terms of keeping that context and all the information that you've mentioned, I'd have to check with the product team, I think, just to see what their answer is. It's
Mm.
a bit above me.
I have no very simple one. Are, are our PDFs safe when we upload them?
So when you upload the PDF, let me go back to that deep research answer. If you click on the View Deep Research Response as a PDF, what it will do is it will give you the, obviously, as your print window, but you can save as PDF when it thinks about it, and you'll see it here. So then you can just save that PDF to your, obviously, your files in your computer. Um, it will obviously still be here when you go back to it later. So you can click on it and it will always be here to have a look at from this point of view.
I
But
think the question is more if they upload their own PDF.
oh, upload their own PDF, sorry. So if they upload their own PDF, then it's saved, as I said, for 30 days. Um, and then, yeah, it's 30 days and then it's removed. And like I said, it's not used to train the LLMs.
And another one is, does LeapSpace provide an API?
As far as I'm aware, not yet. I know that obviously we've got them for Scopus, SciVal, etc. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, LeapSpace not yet.
Um,
I can see there's one there about the results we receive are all from Elsevier. Just to let you know, obviously there everything that's indexed in Scopus, it doesn't have to be Elsevier based. But it is just obviously data from Scopus and Science Direct. But also we have other publishers that have signed agreements with us for their information to be included. So in obviously if it's results from Elsevier, you know that obviously that's peer reviewed. It's the content's been obviously strictly governed by our CSAB. But in terms of the other publishers, we can send you a list of those, and then you can have a look, take a look at obviously their processes as well. But just to obviously let you know that's in answer to that question.
Is there a citation option in references? That's an interesting one as well.
A citation option.
I don't think
So
so.
I would imagine if you're downloading or obviously if you're when you're when you look at a load of references and you let me just pick a load. Let me go down to let's go to the simple one so it doesn't take so long. We'll go back down to the bottom. I'll show all 22 references. So you can obviously save your references as you go along. You can save them to Mendeley. Oh, where's my references? My save all references have disappeared, so I apologise about that. But let's just go to one for an example. I'll have to check that. The save reference option has disappeared at the bottom, but you've obviously got the option to download it at the top as well. So, and you can download all the reference. There used to be a save all references at the bottom here. So you can save it as a CSV plain text here. You can, I would say, in terms of citations of those references, obviously you can download them, like I say, and then obviously add them and cite them as you would in a Word document or wherever you're gonna, that's what I would say.
Maybe just to mention, there was one question about privacy and data retention policies. We have a policy in a
Yeah,
privacy and policy document, and your files will not be used to train the data model. But this is also state everything.
yeah, yeah. So we've got that we can send you a link to the policy. Yeah. Oh, Anya, I've lost you. Have I lost sound for any
Ah,
reason?
sorry.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So,
good. A
yeah.
few.
So we have a privacy and data policy declaration, so it's also available. So maybe we can also
Yeah, we'll
send it.
share that as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. Okay, well, I
Um,
think we've come to the end. If anyone wants to keep going, I'm happy to. Um, I can see somebody said about the claim radar of all claims have tested, have given no claims identified. Hopefully, if you're looking at a few references at a time, let me just try again on this one.
yeah. Maybe also one or two words
Yeah.
about the use or access through the institution, so the students can use it as well.
Yeah, so if your institution has got access via HillLink, then you will be able to access it via your institution. So obviously, if you're not sure, get in touch with your library or your researcher department.
And
Uh,
also, if do they have to register for it? Do
no,
you know?
able to access through their sign-on, how they access all our other solutions via their institution.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. Um, So LeapSpace is suitable for literature review. Is this the main goal? Yeah, it's one of the main goal.
It's one, as I said at the beginning, you can use it as your research assistant. You're using it to help you start your literature review, but it shouldn't be classed as your literature review, if you like. Obviously the conversational part of LeapSpace, you just get 22 references, as you can see here. So it's a start. The deep research report, of course, is another way, but yeah, I wouldn't say that that's my literature review done. I think it's just helping you get started and pulling, if you've got a lot of information to pull.
Um, so yeah, there's still one question about the tool is like Gemini or these AI tools, or can I use it as an academic evidence?
Yeah, so
Maybe
I
it's
mean,
still unclear where we search in. So
yeah, yeah. So I would suggest, obviously, this is, as I mentioned right at the beginning, AI tools are only as good as the content they're grounded in, but this LeapSpace is grounded in, the most trusted, hopefully, academics resource of Scopus. It's peer-reviewed content. It includes 17 million full text articles from different publishers. But, as I said, we obviously go through the CSAB in terms of making sure that content's good, of a good standard. And then you've got the breadth of Scopus, the depth of full text. So yeah, hopefully I would say I'd trust this in terms of if I was a researcher, I'd trust this more than I would, say if I used ChatGPT, for instance.
is there somewhere a basic manual on what you presented today?
Yeah, so I can send you a link to the LeapSpace product page. I can also send you a link, sorry, the slides that I just showed you those 3 slides, but there's a full deck, so I can share that with you. It gives you obviously screenshots of everything I've showed you today, and you can look at the slides afterwards, and the information on the certificate will also be in there as well. I'll just have a quick scoot, and then if everyone's happy for me to finish, and that will compile a list of the questions. I don't want to keep you any longer than and Anya probably wants her lunch and
No worries.
if we'll compile a list of the questions, and we'll come back to you with the answers as well, any that we didn't answer, of course. Um, and yeah, hopefully, if I send everything off to you later on, and the recording will be helpful as well, you can have a look back on it. Um, and I know that somebody's mentioned, I can just see about Mendeley. We are that's the other thing we're looking at as well. So obviously in Science Direct AI, we had the straight link to Mendeley from Science Direct AI, which was really useful. Again, they're looking to include that in LeapSpace. So watch this space really.
Yeah. And of course we are not finished with LeapSpace. So there
No,
will be a lot of improvements
yeah.
and things coming up in the coming months. So it will be
Yeah.
exciting
It's
to,
always developing. They're
yeah,
always looking to make things better, improve things. And it's all based on obviously your feedback and your questions. Even if we can't answer some of them now, hopefully in time to come, in the years to come, they'll be answered um, from your requests. So thank you ever so much for your engagement. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Anya, for your help in
my pleasure.
yeah trying to pick as many questions as we could. And I hope that was helpful. Obviously, please share any feedback afterwards as well. We don't mind, good or bad or indifferent. Really helps us to learn too. So, and I'll see you again at another session, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me and
Thanks, Anya.
have a nice day.
Yeah, you too, everyone. You too, Anya. Thank you.